Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream today. We have Kirsty and Krista, and there's a little story behind the name and how similar they are, and they're both pretty much an hour away from each other. It's pretty crazy. We'll give everybody a little bit of time to jump in. As always, we're going to be doing some giveaways for accounts. I think we're going to do 50 likes before we actually start the giveaway process. If you won before, you can't win again for, it's like a cooling off period. Let's say, I think it's 60 days. Give other people an opportunity to also win. So welcome in, everybody. It looks like we're starting to get some people rolling in. So thank you for joining us. I'm super excited. So today we have the two Ks, Team K. And, it's kind of funny because they just recently passed and got into the live accounts. And when we were looking, we're like, oh my gosh, these two people are like almost taking the same trades. They live like super close. And then we looked, and I hope you don't mind we share this, but we saw that they were using the same card, and we're like, wait, is this the same person or not? And like, but then I met with them. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, they're not. They're just really, really similar in trading. And we thought this would be amazing to share their journey because look, trading isn't easy. It's really hard. And it's a process of like self-discovery and finding out what works for you, what doesn't work. And it's actually really cool that they found each other because having a trading buddy to kind of keep you in check and keep you on task is awesome. Like it's a super cool, inspiring story. So we'll kind of kick it off. We're going to leave them both in. They kind of bounce ideas off each other. It's really cool to see. So let's get into a little bit of it. And first, let's get into like the journey. Where did you guys start? How did you guys meet? Tell us the backstory of that.
Well, I think I found Krista, so I should probably start that. I dabbled a little bit in crypto, had an awful experience where I actually lost quite a bit of money through a scam, through an investment scam. And I was so determined that I was never going to trust other people with my money again, but that I also didn't want that bad experience to put me off completely. And I thought, right, I'm going to teach myself how to trade crypto. Joined a few YouTube channels and started doing a bit of looking around. And as if by magic, on the very same day that I had this epiphany, Krista shared a post. She was on my Facebook from years previous, but we'd never actually interacted with each other before. She shared a post about this training academy for trading. So I liked her post, commented, and she was very keen to get me in a voice chat. And I was so embarrassed about I never did voice notes or anything like that. But anyway, after a couple of days of bouncing things backwards and forwards, I decided to agree to a call. And I think we must have been on the phone well over an hour, chatting about anything and everything. And then I joined the academy under Krista, and we became firm friends. It just clicked straight away. And so we've gone through our trading journey together, trying everything, binary options, Forex trading, prop firms from yesteryear. And then it's funny because, like you said, we've never actually met in person, but we are firm best friends, have been for 3 years, probably speak about 20 times a day. I speak to her more than I speak to my partner. But we've got the same brain and the same emotions and the same method of trading and the same fears and the same desires. So we've almost just clicked. And then our journeys led us to going alone, leaving academies, finding teachings on YouTube that resonate with us, and then recently joined a mentorship together. Funny enough, as a couple. They actually allowed us to join as a couple. But so for about the last year in the mentorship, our trading's completely took off. And then
Wow.
a few weeks ago, did we find TFD? And that has literally been the start of it for us in terms of journaling, being responsible, tracking data, and then the rest, this is history. That's where we found ourselves here today.
So, Krista, how long have you been trading? Like, when did you get into it? Did you start in crypto too, or where did you start in trading?
My background was I had my own business making clothes, so that's how we actually was interacting on Facebook. But then I was in the network marketing industry, and I was just so burnt out with network marketing. I'm quite an introvert, so I found the daily keeping up, talking to people, trying to get sales and things, I found it really draining. So it was actually a friend in the network marketing industry. She actually met with some traders at Eric Worre's house. So she got telling us about this trading academy, and I just signed up with that. It was a bit more of a network marketing company, so I was a bit like, it's not really what I do. We was promoting easy trading, and it just didn't sit well with us. We was like, it isn't easy. Can't make money in 5 minutes a day. You need hard graft. I mean, the amount of weekends we've given up with our children, the amount of early morning get-ups we've had because we really wanted this to work. We have been completely dedicated for the last 3 years. We've just jumped from, we see other people in such a light. We really do. We see people as they're so much better than us. Our confidence has always been really, really rubbish. And we just didn't believe in ourselves. And it is through the mentorship above all that, our mentors just believed in us, and he's just been like, just go for it, girls. And he's given us that push that we've needed. So that's kind of been the beginning of our success, I would say.
That's awesome. Cool. And there's a lot of comments about your guys' cool accents. I know you said earlier before we were on stream, we're like, I don't really like my accent. I was like, no. Your guys' accents are freaking awesome.
She's in the mentorship with us. Hi, Trader
Mom. I actually, on my Gemini and stuff on my Android phone, I actually have I think it's like British or whatever other accent than American, just because I prefer it a lot more. Maybe it's because I'm not used to hearing it, but I love your guys' accents.
It's so weird for us to hear that.
No, they're awesome.
We listen back to our live streaming from last week and we're both like, oh my God, I hate my voice. Weird.
No, not at all. Your voices are awesome. So you guys do a live stream. What do you guys share in the live stream?
We do the London session. So we had quite a good buzz in the chat within our mentorship anyway. There's quite a few of us who trade London session, and we bounce off each other every morning. And then Jesse, our mentor, had said that we really want live. In an ideal world, he would like every session streamed live with a mentor. And people started saying, why don't you guys do it? I'm like, we can't do something like that. Like, we'll be silly. And then Jesse said, go for it. Why not? And again, this is what he's done for us since we joined. We would have like cowered in his inbox and went, what do you think about this? And he was like, girls, you know what I'm doing. You know what you're doing. Just go for it. Like, and that was the kick we needed. But then, so for the last 2 weeks, we've traded live with a group of traders in London, just explaining what we found and learned from the session, how to trade London. Because like we were talking earlier, it's completely different in New York, even down to it not really having an open. It has an open, but it doesn't do anything like the opening bell in New York. So there's New York.
Can you share a little bit of the difference between the London and the New York? Because I'm super used to trading the New York. I really have no idea about the London session, how it interacts. Like, how do you guys actually trade it? What are you looking for? Are you looking for the same levels, or do you adjust your risk because maybe the volatility is a little bit lower? Like, can you give us an idea, like a kind of overview of how you're trading it?
Yeah,
it's super interesting.
Yeah. So we use the Asian session, highs and lows, and we watch how it reacts at either level. So one of our biggest model that we actually trade is time-based liquidity, is what we call Asia high and low, and watch the reaction of it. And we've got two options. We say this is where the market shows us its hand, like if it's either going to continue or it's going to reverse. So we have like models built around both scenarios. And that's only quite recent. I mean, a lot, we had the model of the Asian sweep. Like, we just was like, it's going to hit Asia and then it's just going to reverse and turn around. And we've been stung a lot with that. We're like, maybe not, maybe it doesn't want to do that. So we've kind of built a model around both sides of that and watch what the market tells us is happening rather than predicting it. I think that has been the biggest thing that's helped us, is because we would spend weekends like looking over the charts and going, right, so Monday we think it's going to go there, and then it's going to do this, and then it's going to, and then we'd get the first bit wrong, and we're like, we're just rubbish. We don't know what we're talking
we don't know.
about. Nobody knows.
So now you guys kind of lean more on like hypo or if then situations where if it does this, and maybe we'll do this, and if it does this, I'll do this, and it kind of keeps you. We're not being so biased towards the market. I know having a bias early can impact your trading because you're like, no, I think it's going to go long, and you literally try to go long all day and just get run over. Right?
We've done that and burned accounts doing that. Over and over. And I think being ICT students as well. Initially, this is what brought us to this style of trading was finding ICT on YouTube. I think you're just accustomed to look at reversals at every high or every low. And often that's not the liquidity level where it's going to reverse at. So it's then recognizing that and thinking, right, well, if it's not going to reverse there, where's it going to? So we'll look at previous days high and low, previous London or AM high. So like we came across the 6-hour chart, which not a lot of people that we say 6-hour chart, they're like, but each 6-hour candle is a trading session. So we have that as our higher time frame, and know that if it goes into a 6-hour FVG, for instance, it's actually just taken London's low or New York AM's high. And we've had quite a lot of success with that, using the 6-hour chart, and then maybe it's the 90-minute chart as our mid, and then 5 to 15 minutes our entry time frame. But London, obviously you've said, doesn't have the volatility of New York. So what you can often see in London is it creates liquidity, sweeps that liquidity, creates more, sweeps that. So you've got to be really careful and go for quite a high confluence entry. Otherwise you'll just get wicked out and then it'll go with the direction that you thought it was going to go in. So we've got our rules around when we enter, for instance, the first quarter of the London session. You just don't enter a trade then, because invariably you see yourself get took out and then it goes where you thought it was going to go in the first place.
So it's because it's just a part of the quarters theory. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That's kind of what we use as like our biggest framework for the full day. We split the day into quarters, and that's why each one of the session is 6 hours long, and then we split each session up into quarters then as well, and use a lot of AMD and the accumulation, manipulation and distribution. We kind of use that to frame our trade. Sorry, Kirsty. I was just thinking nobody's heard of the quarters. They were like, why are you doing it like
and
that?
That's really what it comes down to. Look, after you kind of do your hopping around strategy to strategy, and what you realize is like some of the strategies aren't really full flushed out strategies. There's like triggers, kind of like it's like, oh, if I see a liquidity grab here and I see some order flow stuff, that's my setup. It's like, well, that's not really a setup. That's a trigger for a setup, right? And the setup is more of like where you have a framework. Where we both use framework, right? I use something called Nadro. You guys use your ICT stuff, which is funny. It doesn't matter what you use or what speaks to you. What's important is you find something that stays consistent every day, where then you can look at the information and digest it the same way every single day, and then look and find those nuances in the market, those things that repeat over and over. And that's amazing. You guys have found that with this other system.
Each strategy hops so much. We'll watch a YouTube video, a new YouTube video come out, and it's like 80% win rate. I'm like, oh my god, let's backtest this. And we'd spend weekends upon weekends backtesting and be like, this is a really good strategy. And then we try it out for a week and we just lose every trade. And we're like, it's us, we're rubbish. We just can't do it. It's gone 80% win rate, and we can't do it. And it would just knock us every single time till the was like, right, let's create a model that we enjoy to do around our lifestyle, around the kind of traders that we are. We're not scalpers. We do like to be in a trade perhaps between 1 and 4 hours is our best time. And it's got to make sense to us. We're very logical people. Like, we've got to think, it's coming from here and it's going to that. So I understand that trade. We couldn't just hop in and out of trades just to grab a bit of the market. That it wouldn't fulfill us. We wouldn't be satisfied with that.
Well, we're definitely not scalpers.
That's cool though, because the thing with trading is you have to figure out what works for you. And you guys talked about it. It's like that doesn't fit my nature as a trader or as a person, right? So you talk about all these systems that you've backtested and found tons of results in backtesting, but here it is, the forward testing. Does that match you as a trader? Can you actually psychologically trade those setups, right? And a lot of times it's no. So it's not a good strategy for you as a trader. So that's why it's really important to kind of, when you first start trading, like you're in discovery mode. Okay, what works for me? Am I a scalper? Am I intraday? Am I a swing trader? What can I deal with? And once you find what suits you, you find a strategy that works around that and how it melds with your trading style. And if it works with your psychology, then boom, you find that edge that really just suits you. And that's awesome that you guys have been able to find that. With trading, you guys have been doing it for a while. What would you say are the biggest things that have shifted either your ability, your thought process? Like, what has made a real difference in your trading? What was it?
Journaling.
Yeah. So for me, it was firstly joining the mentorship, because I found Casper on YouTube really resonated with his teachings. He just simplified ICT, and followed him for a while and then joined his mentorship. That's been massive. The community in there's amazing. But then somebody within the community recommended TFD as a prop firm. And one of mine and Krista's, both of us actually, were perfection mad. So we would start, right, it's Monday, let's start journaling. Let's do it. Let's really do it. That's going to trade. We need to journal. Look at us. We've got no data. And then would be great. Monday would win and would journal and would be so enthusiastic. And then Tuesday would lose a trade. So we're like, I don't like red. I'll tell you what, we'll not put that one in. I'm like, but that's the trade you need to journal, because that you need to know why that didn't work. And so having the platform and encouraging it to journal as you enter the trade with no emotion attached. You don't know if it's a winner or a loser. But not only that, the gratification we find when we look back at our data and go, yeah, oh, actually, that's not that bad. We were not that bad. And so having that data behind us, helping us to guide our decision making, I think, well, like Krista said, we're better off at certain times of the day. We realize if we enter at that time of the day, that's actually never won. So let's not enter there. And being able to mold our strategy even further based on data has just been huge. I definitely believe that that's been the turning point for us over the last few weeks. Definitely.
That's awesome to hear. And I think data-driven trading is really good. And I think most people sleep on the fact, like, look at your data, because if not, you're using your most recent win as like this recency bias, as well as like this bias. Oh, every time I short, it always wins, or every time I short, I always get stomped on. And it's like, you don't really know. You're just kind of going off your most recent emotions and how you felt during the trade. But then you look at the data, or let's say you're a scalper and you're like, oh, I kill it at scalping. And then you look at the data and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't scalp. I'm not very good at it. So the data really helps drive people and navigate them in the right way. I'm glad you guys found the same thing. One of the reasons we built the journaling where it's automated is because I was like you. I would like, gung-ho on Monday, Tuesday, whatever, journaling, and then I have a losing day. And I'm like, I'll upload those later. And then
and we loved it.
The next,
like the spreadsheet.
I saw data driven.
So confusing how we just couldn't grasp the journal. It's because we felt a failure if we had to journal a losing trade. We was like, we really don't want to do this. It's like we'd failed ourselves, and we used to validate ourselves based on our P&L, how our day had gone. Whereas, like, because we're entering the journaling as we're entering the trade, we've got so much conviction, as you do when you're entering a trade. I mean, you don't really go into a trade thinking, oh, I'll cross my fingers and hope this wins. You're like, yeah, I'm entering this trade because of A, B, and C, 100%. I'm really happy with this setup. And if it loses, then that's fine. And you have all that conviction until it loses. And then you're like, analysing, like, maybe
I've done that.
Yeah. So then that affects your journaling then, because then you're talking about the past and something that's already happened. Whereas, like, you enter all the journaling as you enter the trade, and the outcome, you can kind of let it go. You can kind of forget about it, but not in a bad way. But you don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to think, oh, right, I've got to go back and journal that now, and I really don't want to. It's like, right, I lost, whatever, the next trade's here now. So I think that's helped our psychology massive, that we've not had to get PTSD with the trade. It's just like, that wasn't a winning trade, it's fine, we've moved on to the next one. So that in itself has just been the complete change in our trading, and I really believe that.
One of the things for me as well, a big turning point, was actually a week or so back when I closed out my day and I graded myself an A. because I stuck to my plan. I did this, I did that, I did the other. And I actually lost that day. I wasn't in a massive amount of drawdown, but I lost. But the trades that I took, I would have taken again and again and again because they hit all of my rules. And getting away from a green day being positive and a red day being a negative, bad day that you didn't want to relive, that's been massive, because no one has 100% win rate. And if I take a loss, I'm like, right, great, I need that data. That data will add to me improving that loss in the future, if indeed it needed improving, because some trades just don't work.
And I think that's where people, even me, and most traders, I think we're more introverted. We're perfectionists. We like to see results. We like to make things happen. We don't like to lose, right? The issue with trading is it's so counterintuitive. It's so different than anything else you can do. So perfect example of why we created that like daily check-in and check-out is like, look, stop grading yourself on how your P&L told you did that day, because honestly, it's a lie. A lot of times it's a lie. You could have a really great P&L day, but you totally messed up as a trader. You like added too much size. You took really bad trades. You basically added in on a loser, and then you got some green, you got money, woo. But it's like, no, you just did so much damage to your trading. And then for you, it's like, no, I had a bad day P&L wise, but me as a trader, I killed it. And that's where you really need to disconnect from that thought process of positive P&L is good, negative P&L is bad. No, it's your performance, right? As long as you're trading the same thing every single day, you don't control the outcome of a trade. I don't care how good of a trader you are. All traders are going to lose. And if you can accept those losses and get good at losing, you'll continue to do what you're doing, which look at your P&L. You don't have crazy big sloping action. You have, a slow, methodical grind higher. That's trading. All these people sharing stuff online where they hit 200K trades. It's like, yeah, but they're also risking 200K to try to make the 100K. It's no different. It's just they're risking a lot more than most people. And it's like, you got to do the slow, methodical thing. It's not fun, but that's how you actually get better. And that's great.
Social media does so much damage to traders. Like you only need to see people flexing and, and only showing the good days. And it's the same with social media on anything. I find that with network marketing and, people putting forward the best life, and you don't see what's going on behind closed doors. You don't really know what the life is. And all you see is the highlights, which means that it makes you feel inadequate. It makes you feel like, why can't I do it? All these people around me are doing it. Why can't I do it? And that's been so damaging for us. We've joined so many different groups. We've focused on things on YouTube and things like that. And we've never been in the right community. We've been around a lot of men, and it's very hard as a woman trader to get the lingo and things like that. That's one of the things we've struggled with, because we are, and I know we shouldn't separate women and men, but we've got responsibilities, we've got children, we've got busy lives, we've got the housework to keep on top of, meals to cook. I mean, for us, New York Open is actually 2:30 in the afternoon. So we have the school run literally just as the Opens happened. So we found that it was so hard for us to beat, and we were desperate to trade New York. We was trying everything we could to change our life around. And that was how we realized, I don't even know how I started this, sorry, by the way, but that's how we realized that London actually fits in so much better to our life. We get up at 6:30 for our time. We analyze the chart together. And then we're more or less in a trade before London Open, and then we can just get on with our day. We do a bit of managing on our phone, but we know what we're doing on our phone. It's not that we're phone trading. We're like, right, as soon as this price action happens, we can do this. So yeah, I don't know where I started.
That's awesome. But London, we would rather have been done for the day at London. Close your account, lock it out. That's a great feature as well, is just to lock it out when you're ahead, because we've round tripped so many gains before, trying to make more, and then ended up losing for the day. And I get more annoyed at that than I do putting a trade on and that losing. So
isn't it so odd that the harder you press and the more you try to make, the more you actually end up losing? It's like, no, you just
psychology. You associate that one day when you clawed it back and you're like, was so huge red and then actually turned it around into profit. And you remember that and you think, right, this day's not done. I'm not red yet until I stop trading and give up. So I can't give up. So I'm going to keep going. And you lose more and more and more.
Yeah. And it's weird because like people, human race, it's like, no, we never give up. And like, if you stop trading, you give up. And it's such a weird thing because it's like, no, you gotta stop. That's when you win the day. Is like, no, I took all the trades I was supposed to. I hit my max risk and I'm done. But the issue with tilt is once you're in it, good luck getting out of it. Because either one, you basically gotta get back to break even, right?
Yeah.
Or else then your mind comes back. You're like, oh my God, I got so lucky. I'm out of it, right? Or the other flip side is, oh, I just hit daily loss, or I just blew up my account. Now I snapped out of it. I'm so dumb. I should have never done that. And now you're beating yourself up on it. It's like, well, once you're in tilt, good luck. And that's why it's really good to have like certain things implemented to stop yourself from getting there, right?
I think it
journaling
helps
is one of those,
and to each other as well.
Yeah,
the fact that we look out for the same trades, we speak to each other about the trades, and there's been a lot of times where one of us has messed with the trade, moved our stop too early, and the other one hasn't. And sometimes that's negatively impacted the trade. Sometimes it's positive. So yeah, I feel like it helps us quite a bit that we're accountable to each other. So that was our journaling before we actually got journaling. We'd be like, speak at the end of the day, but a lot of it was around emotion. It'd be like, oh, that was just so stupid. Like we negatively talk to each other, to ourselves. Sorry, I should say. We talk to ourselves really negatively, and it's found that's we've kind of stopped doing that because it was like, would you say that to me, what you've just said about yourself? I was like, no, I'd never be friends with you if you spoke to me like that. I was like, well, why do we do it to ourselves? Why do we speak about ourselves like that?
All traders do it though. When you're doing well, everything seems like it just lines up and you just read the market so well. And then when you do bad, you're literally outside your body going, what are you doing, stupid? Like, why are you doing that? And then you're telling yourself in your head, like, I don't care, whatever. And then you're doing it anyways. But it's tough because look, trading really relies on good discipline and accountability. But there's a lack of accountability because you are only accountable to yourself. And then because, you do stupid stuff, you'll hide the things that you did bad, or you're going to look to blame everybody but yourself. You're going to be like, oh, this freaking software locked up on me, or oh, this happened, or this happened. It's like,
just tweeted.
No, I mean, you kind of took way too much risk and you're not thinking about it. And any one trade's way too important. And when you make any one trade way too important, you're gonna sabotage yourself, and you're not letting yourself, have enough breathing room. But that's great. You guys found each other as accountability buddies, and that's so important in trading because it's really hard. And I don't care who you are, to really hold yourself truly accountable for areas that you actually could get better at, right? So that's awesome. You guys found each other. Let's see. How are we doing on the likes on live stream, Raj? Are we getting close? Are we going to do the spin-off soon? Where are we at, bud?
Yeah, we can spin soon. There's a few questions if you want to get to those.
Yeah, let's do the questions. Hopefully there's some questions for Krista and Christy, Team K. Let's go through some questions and see, get some insight from Christy and Krista. What do we got, Raj? Oh, that one's more for me. So Nadro was developed by Merritt Black. He's now the owner of Apteros, and his system is what got me. It was like what turned the corner for me, right? Before that, I was jumping thing to thing. I was looking at all these different things. I went through so much different training and different education and different back testing. And what I found with Nadro is it's not a perfect system. You're going to have losing days, but it's a framework. So if it's ICT, Nadro, order flow, whatever you're looking at, as long as you have a framework to look at that stays consistent every day, that's all you need to find. Like, find something that stays consistent. And if you get rid of that randomness in your trading, it's going to really help you develop your edge and get better, right? Because if you change what you do every day, you're never going to find any consistency. You won't. So Nadro, as I said, it's Merritt Black, great system, great framework. I highly recommend it. Take a look at his stuff. He's a great guy. He's a great trader. He came originally from S&B Capital. Yeah. So that's questions for you.
I think it's just more of a comment, but yeah, we were in one trading space, and oh God, it was vile, absolutely vile. The men in there, just so derogatory. Like our questions would get ignored, and the guy that ran it himself, he would cancel the calls at like the drop of a hat, 5 minutes to go, or he just wouldn't turn up, or like you'd be sitting waiting on the live stream and think, God, I don't know, it was just such a bad space. Like we felt free when we actually chose to leave that. Luckily, we didn't spend a lot of money getting in there. But when you compare it to the smart trading blueprint that we're in now, the professionalism in there is just unreal.
There's a higher entry level, and I feel like that makes a huge difference. People are serious in there. They want to learn how to trade, and everyone's got the same vision. Everyone wants to, do good. So everybody's helping each other out, and I have never felt in any way like disrespected or anything because I'm a woman, or and I don't want to say as a woman, as a person in general. Like I've just felt comfortable. So I think it really, really matters that you find that safe place where
place. Yeah.
In a lot, like I put my analysis in the chat, like that was a big thing for me because I really didn't believe in myself, but I just thought, do you know what, let's do it. Because do you know what, I'm at that point now where if it loses, then I took the trade. It's the same model every day. I'm doing the same thing. I'm staying consistent, and that gives me accountability to put just my chart in the chat and say this is what I'm looking for, and that helped build my confidence as well, because I was buzzing when they won, and if they lost, I was like, oh well, it's okay, and it helped me to be okay with losing. As our mentor does with us with the live streams, his whole mannerism on the live streams, where he really doesn't care about losing. I feel like losing should be more normal to people. It is part of the game. Like it is part of trading. You can't enter a trade and expect it to win every time. But a lot of the social media and everything built around trading to make it look glamorous makes you think that it should win. And if it doesn't win, then you need to look at another strategy, or you need to look at another way of doing it, or you're stupid. Like a lot of that has made us feel like that over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We would always doubt ourselves if a trade lost. Oh, well, we were wrong. Well, no, the market will do what it wants.
It's like that for every trader. It's not just specific to, male or female. What I found actually is female traders are better at following rules and in the process, where guys, they have their egos, and I know it can be very, very, very toxic in this space for females. I've been at another company, and I've been in the space long enough to know that some of these CEOs have some very backwards thought processes and stuff. And it's like, just treat everybody with respect, treat everybody as professional as possible. And that's what we really try to cater to here. But I can tell you, most of our female traders are a lot better than our guy traders. I don't mean to say, it's just what I see. I don't know if that's real or not real, but don't feel bad because you're a female, because technically you guys trade better than most of the guys. And I think
on our first live trade, a live stream, I think I said something about we're female traders, and one of the guys in the mentorship actually went, no, can I just stop you there? You're not. You're traders who happen to be female. I was like, oh,
okay. I like that. I like that.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I mean, TFD, sorry, everyone's spoken. I was saying TFD couldn't have made us feel more welcome as well.
No.
The level of interaction you guys have given us as well. We're in a group chat with you all on Discord, and we're a bit what's the word?
Imposter syndrome. We're like,
we're a bit like, it's been a bit of a crazy week. Like a lot has happened in this week, and we started doing our live streaming last Tuesday. We got our live account on Thursday. We spoke to you on Friday. And then we've done another live stream again on Tuesday, and that's gone down really well. So it's just been a bit surreal. We have to keep going, my God. But I do feel like we're attracting good things because we're just we're just putting ourselves out there, and we're just like, do you know what? Like, what's the worst that can happen? Let's just go for it. Like, I text Kirsty when you asked in the chat, and I was like, I don't think I'm comfortable. And she's like, why not? And I'm like, oh, whatever. Come on, let's just do it. We need to show up here. We're just normal people. Like, anyone can do it if they put the mind to it.
Normal people with really cool accents and also good trading performance. So that's all that really matters. I mean, we just judge traders on how they perform, what their P&L looks like, and you guys killed it. And that's all that really matters. And I thought, you guys come in and joining us and, sharing your thought process and what your struggles have been is super beneficial to other traders. And that's all we're trying to do is just be there for traders. We don't care who it is, where they're from or anything. It's like, no, let's look at what our problem is. It's like, how do we find and develop consistently profitable traders? And that's all we care about.
From joining TFD from the start, even when you just pop into support to say, is there any way this could be done on the platform? Yeah, sure, no problem. We'll put it to the developers. Like, from joining the platform, how many people have we recommended to, Chris? Literally,
everyone's sick of hearing about us. Like, we'll literally tell everybody we
can. Best prop firm, hands down, from you guys right into the support to watching some of the YouTube streams you've put out. It's just great. Like, we've
for me, I think it's the fact that
rocketed from joining. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying our best. I mean, we just all come from a professional background, and it's like, I think that's what's lacking in the space. And, the way we molded and made everything, we really thought about, okay, well, let's totally think differently in the space. And like, how do we help traders if they are gambling? How do we limit and prohibit those gamblers? How do we get them focused on the right things? What did we struggle with? What do we hate doing? And that's journaling. And now it's automated. Okay, well, cool. So what's the quickest way to like get data? And it's like, okay, through tagging, right? So how do we make that super simple? So it literally takes seconds. And then once you have it, then you can go to the P&L simulator and be like, okay, well, what can I cut out to actually make myself better? And it's like, the more tools we can do, the better we can do. It's like, I just want to be a good space for people to come and enjoy and just get better at trading. And it's where you can actually get better and actually have data to support it. Not just be like, I think I did a little bit better. Now you have the data to be like, no, I followed my rules. I got A's on every single day the last week. I'm freaking killing it. And that's where growth comes. So I'm glad you guys found us.
Back testing, because we're like, when we got the TFD account originally, we was very like, do you know what? Let's just forward test our strategy. We kind of took away all the idea of passing the challenge, getting a payout. We took all that financial stress off ourselves, which we've had for 3 years. Like, we want to do this full time. So we was like, we want to quit everything else we're doing. We want to trade full time. It's got to work. And that like desperation has really made things worse for us. But we came in, we joined on the 3rd of March. I remember, with it being Kirsty's birthday when we joined. But we just came into it with a different mindset. We're like, let's just use it and tag trade, collect the data, and let's just see if our model actually works. And as we started to do it, we're like, hey, this is all right, because we've only got X percent win rate, but look at how profitable we are. And then we've kind of just carried on there. And each trade, I feel like I'm just doing it to add data, rather than thinking, this is the trade that's going to get me live. This is the trade that's going to pass the challenge, which a lot of prop firms, like, you've got your different consistency rules, and then it's like, right, that's your focus to get to this stage, then to do this. And in the meantime, all you're doing is kind of gambling just to get there. We're toying so much with. We've just started another account, which we chose a static drawdown. We've never ever traded with static drawdown. It's always been end of day drawdown, and we didn't realize just how good it was actually. So we just have a profit target of $300 on the static, and because it's at a profit target of $300 this week alone, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've just hit the profit target, parked it up and left it and not touched it. And I've got 100% win rate on that, because I've not tried being greedy. And this is something that we're toying with so much, because like you said, you remember them big days where you was in a huge trend and it was going and going and going. winning you as you know, like we toy so much with, do we just put a hard TP in, be done for the day, walk away, get on with our lives? But I think this week's kind of made me think even more about that maybe that's what we should be doing, rather than trying to chase these trades that happen once in a blue moon. Because like you said, you remember that, and then, but if you look at your data, actually, how many times did you actually win in them big trades?
Yeah, mindset is crazy, where you shifted from thinking about, well, how can I pass this super fast, to no, I'm just going to focus on tagging my trades and taking good trades and the process, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you focus on the process and not the outcome of the trade, all of a sudden you guys saw a bunch of good results. You're like, oh my gosh, look how great everything is working. The challenge is just continue to focus on the process, think about that, and continue to get those base hits, because base hits are so much easier than getting those home runs. But you always remember the home runs. You're like, oh my God, I mean, I killed it on that trade, but you forgot about all the other trades that totally just got away from you. You only focus on those one, outliers that really, did well for you. All right, let's get back into some more questions. And then right after that, we'll go ahead and do the giveaway. How long has TFD been around? So we've been under development since, I think, July of last year. We launched in November, late November, I think, and we've been around since then. So not a very long time. We're very new in the space, but our motto is kind of like, judge us based on our actions, not what we promise and what we say. Just look at what we do. And I think that's the best thing we can lean into, is like, just look at our actions. That speaks a lot louder than any words or promises. What else we got? So Lucky Aces, that is something we've talked about. We would like to transition to a point where you can upload your trades from other firms, to kind of, because I know a lot of people have more than one account. They have multiple accounts at different firms. So I think we've talked about it. We do have some really good developers. Brandon's actually our main guy that does that stuff. And I think he's built a similar system before. So it's not out of the question at this point, but we are working on some other really cool, exciting things that are also benefit to the trader, more so with coaching and some interactions and stuff that we're developing. But it's definitely on the agenda for the future. It's a great idea. We want people to be able to use our one-stop shop for even other firms uploading your data, downloading your data, and just having it, and even being able to do that in our test accounts. So I think that's where we're going to go eventually. Yes, super inspiring. As he said, that's why we wanted to bring him on the show. It's like, look, we want to recognize people when they're putting in the effort, they're putting in the work, and we can tell through their P&L and how steady that is, that they understand what they need to do, and they're not just so focused on gambling, right? You're going to have drawdown periods. You're going to have times where your strategy just doesn't work. It's okay. And how you respond during those times is the most crucial in trading. What else we got?
I think what I found with, sorry, go on, Ollie.
Go ahead. You guys can jump in. And if you want to answer these questions.
I was just going to say about when we saw the business model with TFD, it made us feel safe, because there is so many prop firms out there that, I mean, we're very suspicious people. We feel there's other prop firms out there that are there just to make money from us. I think the fact that you don't make money, that you don't have a sim brokerage that you pay out with, I feel like that it makes me feel safe that you don't need to charge a fortune for accounts. You don't need to keep hitting traders with rebills and renewals. The fact that you keep it, no matter what size account, there's just a $75 reset and the $29 for the renewal. We spoke about this on the call, I think, and it was the rebill. What did you call it? When the rebill was coming up and you just got on tilt because you're like, well, I need to pass this challenge before my rebill happens. You had a really cool phrase for it. And that's happened a lot with us, that we're like panicking. We're like, well, we've not got the rebill. This account's like dying anyway. Might as well just blow it before the rebill. So again, that's helped us with the psychology that we don't have to look for a lot of money to rebill it or reset it as well.
That was actually the purpose behind our rebill. Was like, you know, some of these other companies, you sign up, it's like $200 and their rebill is $200, right? So what we found was it was creating a lot of tension in trading where you'd be close to the rebill and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta pass this. And then what you do is you force trades, and then you know how that turns out. And then you blow the account. You're like, well, whatever. I need a new account anyway. It's like, no, that's not what it is. So when we did the rebill, it's like, no, how do we do it for at cost, basically, and allow them to, one, use the journaling and use everything else and not rush the process, because trading can't be rushed. And I think everybody wants to rush trading. So let's jump into the next question. How do you deal with losing streaks? Let's get from both of you guys on this.
I personally have found having data in the back office helps me with the losing streak, knowing that I'm one loss closer to that win. Whereas when we had no data at all, we just went into panic mode. Another loss. Whereas I think, well, my win rate averages around like 38-40% sometimes. There's a good few losses in there before I get a win. But knowing that one win will probably like obliterate 3 and 4 losses because of my profit factor, having that hard data has really helped with the losing streak. And my losing streak on the account that I passed and went live was during all of the tariff going on with Trump. And it just got so close to drawdown. And previously, like you just said, I would have gone, this is gone. I'm just going to massively oversize on this trade. It's either going to go or it's going to recover my account, because there's no way that I want to slowly claw that back. Like all that money's for nothing. I'm still in drawdown. But this time, I think it was, I don't know, I had a point to prove to myself and data. I didn't want to log a trade that was 5-6 contracts more than I would normally put on, and then have that skew my data and then look at it in months to come and go, well, what happened there? That's an outlier if ever I've seen one. So, and we do this. So occasionally I'm out on the road a lot during the day teaching. So I've seen myself jump in a trade in a gap between my lessons, but because I can't track and log that and journal it, it's made me question, do I want to take this trade? Because when I get home, am I going to feel like I want to journal this trade? And 9 times out of 10, I probably go, no, actually, I'm not. I'm going to wait until I'm home at my laptop. And that has massively helped with the losing streaks, because invariably those trades would lose. And the one where I'm sat looking at the chart, I can zoom out, I can see the full day rather than 3 15-minute candles. But yeah, having the data to back up my losing streaks has massively helped me.
Krista, how about you?
Yeah, the same with me as well. I think as long as you control your losses and you've done the same risk management as you have with on your winning trades, then you've just got to expect them. I feel like that is the psychology you've got to create for that for yourself is to kind of go, oh, well, that wasn't a winning day, and just take it with a pinch of salt, because like you said, before we had data, we would just go into a blind panic and be like, oh, this strategy doesn't work. Right, let's get back to the drawing board. At the weekend, we'll find a new strategy. Like we've done it so many times. We'll look for a new strategy. That one's rubbish. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. But the fact that now we can back that up with data and go, like the other day, for instance, we tag all our trades with ICT kill zones, London kill zone, New York AM and PM. And I went through all our trade history and I tagged each one because I could see the time, obviously. So, and I selected on the P&L simulator, if I'd only taken trades in New York, in the kill zones, basically, my account would have been 100% up compared to what it was. And so then straight away we was like, we have that data now, why would we ignore that data? We are not trading outside the kill zone. And it's helped, it just makes it so much easier, because our kill zone means that by 10 a.m. we can't take a trade after 10 a.m. and then we don't take one until like, you know, pre-market. So it's kind of broke our day up for us, the fact that we've been able to go back to data, totally gone off about losing sleep.
Krista would often say all day, just chart watching, knowing that she was almost responsible for my trading as well, because I couldn't be on the chart. I was out working. So it's made her have a break. She's going to the gym, enjoying time, going for a walk, whereas she used to be a complete slave to the chart. So when I got home from work, like, whoa, New York's open, like it's time to trade. Like, you know, I'm done. I can't look at this chart anymore. So yeah, having the kill zone data has just been huge for us.
Yeah. Less is more with trading though. And I think when you do watch the charts all day, and I think that's more of like a newer thing where new traders are like, I gotta live on these charts all day. I can't miss a second of it, right?
You're scared to lose the move. Like, oh my God, if I'm not on the chart, what if it moves 1,000 points and I miss it?
But trading is very mentally exhausting, and you only have so much like reserve capital brain power. And once you get past a certain threshold, you're just exposing yourself to more risk. So for you to look at the data and be like, no, we trade really well between this time period, and cutting everything else out seems like you're missing opportunities, but it's not. It's just cleaning up your trading and allowing you to focus on what does work and eliminate what doesn't, not based on biases, not based on anything like that. It's based on data, right? Be data driven. And that's amazing that it's been able to do that for you. So kind of follow-up questions. So about losing streaks, how do you know if a losing streak is your strategy not working anymore or not at all in the first place versus just a losing streak? Is the data the biggest?
I think that go up so we just start talking at the same time. I think every strategy is a winning strategy. Like, this is the thing that we've just realized. It's how you trade that strategy. So I mean, it's all just based upon concepts, isn't it? Like you said, you've got your entry, you've got your framework on the chart, then your entry. I feel like rather than looking at winning strategies, you need to look at what wins for you. Like what is the kind of trader you want to be? Do you want to be a scalper? Do you want to be in and out of the market? Like, are you happy to take a set R and just take that off the table? You know, and kind of asking yourself them questions. How do I want to trade? And build your strategy around that. That is what we've been able to do, especially with the data as well. Just keep refining it. And if you can refine it, even once a month, if you can look at your data and go, I really don't think that we should trade at that time, or maybe that entry is a bit skewed, because we've got all different like tags and different setups so that we can look at different entry. So we don't have just one whole model. We have like, it can happen with this confirmation or it can happen with this confirmation. So even still, we're still looking at different ideas. We're not set in stone of this is our model and that's all we're going to do. We're like, oh, this model worked today. This is the model that they're set up on the chart. This is the model that we're going to use. So yeah, I don't think there is any losing strategies. I really think it's more of just building a strategy around what you're comfortable doing and just making it work by just changing different things.
And if a strategy has worked previously, I don't believe it'll ever just stop working. I think it is just a rough patch on the chart where it's just not playing. But if it's worked previously, I don't believe it'll just stop working. Price moves fractally all the time the same. There's just different drivers, different news events, different fundamentals involved. So just ride it out. Like, I could have previously turned my back on all of this when the tariffs were happening, because nobody could predict what on earth was going on any given day. Once it would pump 1,000 points and then the next day it would plummet another 500 and you'd wake up to a huge opening gap. And, you know, I could have said there, my strategy's not working anymore, but actually it was fundamentally driven that. It wasn't to do with the strategy. But one of the best tips I think I heard on I think it may have been an ICT video, where he said, what do your eyes fall to? When you first look at the chart, what do your eyes fall on? Now, some people it's breaker blocks, order blocks. For me, it's FVGs. I can see them. We didn't know what one was until we stumbled across ICT. We used to be retail-based traders. How I traded that way with support and resistance lines, I don't know. Now, understanding FVGs, we built our strategy around that because that's what both of us resonated with, and we could see it as clear as day on the chart. So that was the basis of our strategy, and we built it from there. And we see reversals probably more than continuations. So our strategy was very much based around a reversal. But then in the mentorship, Jesse came up with what we call a fail flip, which is what I said earlier on. if price was going to reverse at that level, what would you expect to see? So with us, we like to see an FVG inverted. But if that FVG is respected and then a new one's created away from it, well, then it's not reversing. So we would previously just be sidelined there.
Watch it buy all day.
Watch it buy, try and sell it at the next high. Watch it buy, try and sell it and lose again. Now, well, it's not selling, so it's buying. So we'll wait for an entry strategy to get into a buy. So a strategy not working, I think it's just, if it's not playing, then it's doing the opposite. So can you build can you reverse engineer a continuation strategy around how you would trade a reversal? That's what we've done. So now we can see both sides of the market, whereas we used to be really biased towards reversals. And in a trending market, you're not going to get that a lot, unless you're in at the low, which London's quite good at. It does tend to make a low. So we call it like the move of the day. That's what you used to like to call it. You'd watch it accumulate through Asia and then sweep one side in London, create a low, and then we try to ride it for the rest of the day. That was one strategy that we used to beat ourselves up about, because we'd see so much money on our chart and then it would reverse on us and we hadn't secured our gains. And so we used to see that as our strategy not working. Well, it wasn't. We just had the wrong target. So make sure that you're securing profit on the way up. So yeah, hopefully that helped. I believe it's data driven, definitely.
Yeah, data driven, back testing, forward testing the strategy, and understanding like some strategies, there's not really a reason or explanation, like opening range breakouts, right? They don't work very well in June and July. Keep that in mind. So when June and July come and your strategy is not working well, it has nothing to do with strategy. It's just a time period that it doesn't work very well. Yeah. Or more of these kind of like ICT principles. If you have headline risk, right? News related risk, most of that stuff's not going to matter because the algos don't care. They're going based on news. They're making these estimations. Traders are going crazy. Like those strategies probably aren't going to perform very well unless you have specific strategies developed for those type of time periods. Like, hey, I'm looking for this type of move. If it's news driven, I'm looking for continuation, whatever, right? You got to have strategies for those type of markets, right? The market goes in different cycles, have different strategies for different cycles.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. We used to think you needed one strategy, but actually now we've got about 10 different setups on our back in our report. And so we've got levels. So our trading is all around drawing key levels. And then when price, we alert that. And then when price reaches it, right, well, watch what it's going to do here. Is it going to reverse? Is it going to continue? We've got continuation setups. We've got reversal setups. And so that one strategy we don't have. We just trade what the market's showing us at a key level. And I think that's been a huge game changer for us, is just to be open and watch the market. Don't predict. Let it tell you. If your entry model shows up at a key level, take the trade. And if it loses, you're getting the data from that loss anyway. Like, and that has completely changed our thought process.
I think our biggest growth in the past month or so is actually where we actually go, do you know what? I don't think this is tradable. Should we just leave it? And that is huge because we love trading. We get, the emotion that's attached to it. We get the adrenaline rush. Everybody gets that buzz when you're in that winning trade. I mean, we're in one now, actually. I completely forgot. I heard all the field, so we're all right. But like, it was very hard for us, especially when Kirsty got home from school. Kirsty got home from work. We'd sit on the laptop and and we're like, right, let's look for a trade. And we would force one. We would find a trade wherever we wanted to. So the fact now we've gone, there's a key level. You are not trading until it's at that key level. And if it isn't at that key level, then you've no trade. That's kind of something we've had to implement as a hard rule for ourselves, because you can look on a chart and you can see these big candles and you'd be like, oh my God, look, it's buying. Let's just jump in. And then it just completely reverses on you. And you're just like, that was very stupid. I shouldn't have done that.
That's your like weird confirmation bias thing where it's like, no, that's worked before. So I'm getting into this trade. It's a great trade. Or it's like, you see the trade, you're like, I'm not going to take it. And then it works. Right. But with the data, you're like, no, it doesn't work. I'm not going to take this trade.
Might work once.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's get into the spinoff. Let's get everybody in here their chance to win an account with us. We do full screen. It might make it look a little bit nicer. Where's the full screen one? There we go. Oh, it didn't make it look that much better. All right, Raj, go ahead and spin it up. And Kirsty and Krista, you guys can do the announcement of the names. We want to hear that amazing accent you guys have.
I'll let you, Krista.
Anish, have I pronounced that right? I'm always really scared about pronouncing a name wrong.
Perfect. Sounds great to me. I'm terrible at the name stuff too, but it sounds amazing in your guys' accent. So let's keep going. All right, spinning, spinning, spinning. Let's see who is next.
Is that Juan?
It is Juan.
Yeah.
Congrats, Juan. So to the winners, we will be emailing you. Oh, we're doing three. We're doing three.
Oh.
Another spin. Here we go.
Robert, congratulations.
Congrats, Rob.
Yeah, lucky.
You got the easy ones. Okay, cool. So we did the spin-off. Everybody, congrats to the winners. Please, take the time to trade these, collect the data. Come on, guys. You tried everything else. Try differently. Think different. You tried the gambling stuff. You tried not being data-driven. Try to be data-driven. It really is crazy to beneficial to your trading. You will find an edge within the edge of collecting data. It's a weird thing, but it works. Let's knock out a few more questions for Kirsty and Krista. So if anybody else has any questions for them, now is the time. Other than that, we're going to be wrapping up the stream pretty soon. So
yeah,
100%. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that we learn.
It was actually from you, Brian. I watched one of your videos and I remember ringing Krista after I finished it. I said, oh, he just said something about a strategy. If it doesn't fit with your psychology, then it's not a good strategy for you. And it was like one of those light bulb moments. I'm like, that actually is just so true. Like if you're not a scalper, but you're trying to trade this scalper strategy, or if you don't like holding trades, if you get that FOMO that you're in profit and you just don't want to lose that profit, your strategy has to fit your personality. And I think even I don't really like the word strategy, because for me, we've just got a model that we see show up on the chart. And when it shows up on the chart, if it's in the key time that we trade, and if there's a reason for that model to show up, because that was one of our biggest ones, we would see it all over the chart and try and trade it. But unless it happens at a key area, then it's just manipulation most of the time, and you'd get caught up in that. But yeah, the way that you trade has to be, and your personality has to be the driver for your model. Otherwise, if you're trying to trade somebody else's, they're a different personality to you. It's not going to have the same results. Emotions will always change the way you trade. So
we've seen the variables when we both are trading the same thing. And like I said, one of us will make the decision, do you know what, I'm actually just going to take profit at that level. I'm just going to be done. And like, usually Kirsty goes, I'm just going to try and take it a bit further. We've got different personalities in that respect.
You guys trade very similarly. I mean, you guys both passed almost at the same time, based on
same candle.
I want to say it was like, the same candle. So you guys are pretty in sync on that stuff.
Mine had gone $200 away from total loss. And I don't think Krista's had ever gone anywhere near. This was just bad luck, bad entry. I didn't get the best entry. And everything just went wrong on my account for a period of time. But then different decisions meant that my account clawed back, and we ended up both passing in nearly the same 5-minute candle. It was a complete freak that actually happened. Yeah. But even we were laughing about it. Like for instance, one day I think I hit profit and it missed Krista's buy, maybe it's a tick, and reversed, and she lost and wasn't on the charts. I didn't realize. And we even joked and said it was just meant to be. Yours was waiting for me to catch up. Like, and we talk about this all the time, but something happens where our trading does actually end up aligning, even though they're in such different, our trades are in such different positions. At one point, they always come back to end up being together. One human. Our mentor always says we literally are one human.
Pretty close. I mean, you're trading. Well, that's why you guys are Team K, right? So, we're closing this out. We're wrapping this up. I just want to really thank both of you guys for joining us. I'm glad you're not the same person. I'm glad we figured that out.
That was hilarious. So that was just, we both got the same message off Alberto at the same time, saying we just need to check one thing.
Can you? And then one of you guys joined video, and I was like waiting for the other one. I was like, okay, let's see the other one pop in here. And then you guys did. And I was like, okay, And that was good. I was like, okay, they're different people because everybody's trying to game the system.
One
It's
of
like,
them is
come
not a
on,
bot.
guys.
We just found it hilarious, so don't worry.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. All right. Well, I guess in closing, I just want to really thank both of you guys for sharing insight and sharing how you guys found, success, because success in trading is very difficult. It's tough. It's a lot tougher than people portray online. Everybody makes it seem like you can just win a bunch of money. It's like, no, you can lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
So reduce your risk, smaller size, get consistent, focus on process, and your results will end up being what they are. And they'll be good if you continue to focus on process. So thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Anything for, the closing of the show? Any advice for anybody? Anything you guys want to say?
I would just want to say, just believe in yourself and don't believe the gurus in the space. Nobody shows they're losing trades, and it's all about winning trades. And, just work on collecting the data, stay consistent. Don't judge a strategy on a week's worth of trade, and, give it at least a month. But yeah, enjoy it.
I challenge you to get an account just to forward test on, and actually see how your strategy actually does, like what data it gives you, because that's what we did. We took away all the emotional stress, the financial pressure, everything. We just was like, right, let's just give it a chance. Let's just trade each setup as we see it, do the same risk on each one, and let's just collect the data and let's actually see if it's profitable. Because, like I said, the amount of weekends that I've given up back testing is ridiculous. I've had spreadsheets to Kirsty telling her we're going to be millionaires next Friday, like honestly. And then, but then we've got so buzzing with that when we actually go to trade it and it loses for a couple of times, like, we are so stupid. Why can't we do this? So I think, just go and forward test and just collect your data. Just see your trading for the next month as collecting data, and it will change a lot for you. I can see.
All right, Raj, should we do one more giveaway? Somebody in the chat keeps saying, let's do one more. Should we do? Oh, Raj is doing it. I hope you're the winner, FX. Let's see. He's going to do one more.
Good luck.
All right, here we go. Spinning, spinning, spinning. And the winner is... Oh, I am not going to try to pronounce that name.
It's Kirsty's turn.
Sorab.
There you go. Sounds great. I think that's it. You nailed it. All right, cool. So with that, let's go ahead and end this show. Thanks again for joining.
Thank you very much
for having us. Thank you, everyone, for watching.